Hi everyone, my name is Jonathan Strauss. I work here at the University of New South Wales in the Future Students Office. Thank you all for joining us on what is a very cold and wet and dreary evening here at UNSW in Sydney for our Scholarships Information Evening. Before I begin, I would like to take a moment to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land, the Bidjigal people of the Eora Nation, and any elders past or present who may be joining us this evening. So we are here to talk about scholarships, everything you need to know about applying for scholarships here at the University of New South Wales. So quick show of hands, who here is a current Year 12 student? Excellent. Anyone Year 11? A couple Year 11s, good. Any Year 10s? A couple Year 10s as well, or not. So welcome to all of you. Thank you for being here, and we are going to give you essentially a crash course in everything it is you need to know about how to apply for scholarships here at the University of New South Wales. So quickly, this evening we are going to offer you the opportunity to ask any questions you may have via Slido. So for those of you who haven't used Slido before, it is a great way for you to submit your questions anytime during the presentation as it pops into your head. You just log on to slido.com and enter in hashtag UNSW Scholarships onto that website. So from your phone, enter in that URL and enter in that hashtag. You'll then be able to ask any questions that you want via Slido. Also, everyone here will be able to vote those questions up or down. So they'll be able to say, that's a great question and I want an answer for that. Or that's not such a great question and I don't really care about the answer for that. Ultimately, the questions with the most votes will be the ones that we answer at the very end during a Q&A this evening. So I'll remind you of that again, but again, remember you can submit those questions at any time during the presentation tonight. Again, everybody sorted with that? Good. So here's our program this evening. I'm going to do a brief presentation about why you might consider studying here at UNSW. I promise it will be very brief. Followed by an applications overview from Michelle Morris from the UNSW Co-op program, who will cover all application processes for scholarships here at the university. We'll then have two current students talking about their scholarship experience at the university, both Sonia and David. And we'll then wrap up with a Q&A via that Slido website that I mentioned earlier. All of our scholarships and co-op staff will be available in the foyer after tonight's presentation if you do have additional questions that you want to follow up with them. So do make sure that you hang around for that if you do have any of those other questions. Also, for any of you who didn't register this evening and we've let you in, no worries, that's all good. We're happy to have you here. If you do want to register, though, with Shez at the end of the evening to make sure that you get the slides and the presentation and a link to the video from this evening, do make sure that you check in with Shez then just before you leave out in the foyer tonight. So, without further ado, I'm going to skip into why you might consider studying here at UNSW. And for most of you, I would imagine that you will have considered some of these things already in terms of why you might consider studying here at the university. But we do have just over 54,000 students studying here at UNSW at the moment across 3 campuses and 9 faculties. Again, the vast majority of those students would be studying here on the Kensington campus. With those 9 faculties, I'll cover those in just a moment, but we do have a ton of opportunities available to you. There's a huge range of options available to you at the university from those 300 different degrees, 9 faculties, everything from art and design and textiles and sculpture to business, commerce, economics, actuarial studies, to engineering, to science, to medicine, to optometry, to, what am I leaving out, arts and social sciences, languages, international studies, media, education. There's a huge range of options available to you here at the university. And we do pride ourselves also in our combined degree options. So that option to take 2 degrees, smash them together, and get 2 degrees in less time than it would take to do 2 standalone degrees. There's also other great reasons to consider combined degrees as well, but that's the main one at the moment. Most of you will have picked up a bag and a white program out the front, the UNSW 2018 Undergraduate Guide. That program actually lists all of our degrees available here at the university, as well as some information about scholarships and co-op, bonus points, how to apply, all of the faculties, everything you need to know about getting into UNSW next year as a Year 12 student finishing the HSC this year is going to be listed in that program. So you're welcome to grab one of those if you haven't earlier this evening, and it does list everything that you need to know. There's a couple of other things that we do want you to know about, though, as well. In addition to our degrees, our faculties, the campus, and the facilities that are here at the university, we do have O Week, and we highly recommend that you participate in O Week, Orientation Week, whichever university you end up going to. We do happen to have the largest O Week in Australia, but who's counting? No, I'm not going to push that too much. It just happens to be the largest and perhaps the best Orientation Week in Australia. The reason we really, really recommend O Week, and again, I will say this to you, if you come to UNSW, you should participate in O Week. If you don't come to UNSW, you should participate in the orientation activities that the university that you do attend, you should go participate in theirs. And it's because it makes a huge difference to your first semester, first year on campus. It's about finding your way around campus. It's about finding and meeting new people who are studying what you're studying or studying something completely different, and just kind of helping you to adapt to the university. So again, it's a lot of fun as well. There's a lot of activities and parties in the evening and movie nights and comedy shows, as well as the serious academic support stuff as well. So do make sure that you participate in O Week. We have Careers and Employment, a staff of more than 10 whose only job is to help you get a job while you're studying at the university, or so like a casual job, or an internship, or full-time employment once you graduate from the university as well. And they run a series of activities all throughout the year, from Orientation Week all the way to 18 months after you graduate. So take advantage of their services. Sport, we have a huge sporting community here at the university. We are very active participants in the Uni Games, which is the Australian university equivalent of the Olympics. So we definitely highly encourage you to participate in the Uni Games. Accommodation, we have more than 5,000 beds on campus here at the Kensington campus, as well as accommodation at our Canberra campus with the Defence Force. And a great deal of options available to you there in terms of whether you want someone to do all of your laundry and cooking and cleaning in 5 meals a day, or you want to live on your own and do your own thing, cook your own meals. So a huge range of options there. It's a wireless campus, so we do have an entirely wireless campus, uni-wide network, which covers the whole campus, so you could be out on the lawn on a beautiful night like tonight, studying or doing whatever that might be. Snapchat, Facebook, lecture notes, all of the rest are available to you as well. And then there are more than 250 student clubs and societies to get involved in. And this is a huge one from my perspective, which is that the degree that you do will ultimately matter, and where you study will matter to some people. But most important will be the skills that you develop outside of the classroom, and doing a lot of that through student clubs and societies, whether it's the fun ones like Quidditch Society or Underwater Ironing Society or Photography Society, Chocolate Lover Society, or the more serious career-focused ones like Psychology Society or Business Society or the Law Society. All of those are great options for you to develop skills and also network and ultimately help you to get a job in the future. So do make sure that you look at participating in things outside of your study while you're at university as well. Finally, making the right choice for you. I think UNSW is a fantastic place. I studied here as well. I did my master's degree in international law and international relations at the university. I've worked here and studied here for just over 10 years. It didn't take me 10 years to finish my master's degree. It doesn't take that long. But I love my job. I love what I get to do. They also pay me to tell you how amazing UNSW actually is. But we genuinely want you to come to UNSW if it's the right place for you. If it's not, that's okay. There are lots of great universities to choose from and lots of degree options available to you. So make sure that you're thinking about, what is it that I want to study? What do I feel like when I come onto campus for something like Open Day, which is the 2nd of September? What are those feelings, and how do I fit into that place? If it feels right, great, we would love to have you. If it doesn't, that's okay too. Make sure that you're making that choice for you, not for your best friend, not for your parents, not for anyone else other than you, because you're the person who's going to be doing the study in the long run. So without further ado, I'm going to hand it over to Michelle Morris, who is with the UNSW Co-op program and is going to run you through all of the application process details that you need to know in terms of submitting your actual application for scholarships here at UNSW. Thank you, Michelle.
Hi everyone, I'd like to add my welcome to you here this evening, and again thank you so much for coming out. It isn't the best night out there, but it will be in here. Hopefully we will give you as much information as you can handle tonight. I can't speak quite as quickly as Jonathan, but I promise we'll pack in a lot of information. I too would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the UNSW campus, the Bidjigal and the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation, and pay my respects to the elders both past and present. So UNSW offers over $15 million in coursework scholarships each year. Okay, that's quite a lot, and for a variety of reasons. And that variety of scholarships allow us to do a whole bunch of things. We can promote diversity, provide financial support, recognise achievements that you already have, and it makes university accessible to students who might not otherwise have the opportunity to access higher education. We have career development opportunities through the co-op program and other industry-linked scholarships, and our travel and exchange opportunity scholarships give the opportunity to go overseas and access global opportunities for a whole range of students who are here at UNSW. So on the website you'll find around 100 scholarship programs that are open for application in many of these categories. And we also manage the Australia-wide selection process for the Robertson Scholars Leadership Program, which is to study in the United States at Duke or at UNC. And while we hope many of you, or all of you at least, who are here this evening will apply for scholarships, and many of you will receive them directly out of high school, even if you don't, there's a whole range of scholarships that you can apply for once you are here at UNSW, and for a whole range of reasons. So that might be for you to go on exchange and take up one of those global opportunities, or it could be to do something like a research proposal or research project, or to take on an honours year. So even if you don't get a scholarship for your first year, while you're here at UNSW, as Jonathan said, one of the best universities that you could possibly study at, there are a whole bunch of ways that you can still access scholarships, and we encourage you to continue looking for those. So particularly for the different types of merit or direct application scholarships, the variety means that there are a number of different things that we look for in the scholars. So we want to know what kind of contribution that you can make to UNSW. As a scholar, you'll join a really important group of UNSW students and be part of that community and be an ambassador for the university, more generally speaking. So will you be a potential innovator or an entrepreneur? Are you a researcher? Are you a potential philanthropist or a student leader? Whatever kind of potential it is that you have, that's what we want to unleash. We want to know what programs you're interested in and why you're interested in those programs. Okay? We want to know what leadership skills you might already have and what we can build on for you and help you build on. We want to know what you do at school, in your school communities, in the broader communities, what extracurricular activities you're doing outside of the classroom, and the things that you're really passionate about. Okay? In short, we want to know you. Your application gives us an opportunity to see the unique individual that is you, and hopefully gives us an opportunity to then support the development of that potential and your future. So there are three main categories of scholarship process: the direct application, those that are linked with your UAC application, or those that are automatic selection. And to break that down a little bit, this is a cross-section of some of the direct application scholarships that we have. So the co-op program is quite unique, and I'll go into that in a little bit more detail in a moment. But while for the rest of them, you can see that there's a variety of values, there's a variety of durations. Okay, some of them could be for 1 year, some of them might be for duration of program. All right, so what we're looking at there is some of them might be specifically your academic achievement alone. Based purely on that, you might get a scholarship. In others, we might recognise the kind of contribution you can make in different ways to your community or to your school. Some of these scholarships look at qualities such as leadership or community service, your extracurricular or sporting activities. For example, you might be an elite athlete who's trying to combine tertiary education with your continuing your sporting career, in which case the Ben Lexon or Elite Athlete Scholarship is perfect for you. Or you could be somebody who's really passionate about maths, and the Beautiful Minds Scholarship is right there. So depending what it is, we're trying to help you unlock that potential and move through your degree in the way that works best for you. And scholarships are continually being added as we get different donors that come on and different funding that comes through. So keep an eye on the scholarships website, because there could be more opportunities in the future. Our 2025 strategy, 2025 UNSW, has a goal to increase the equity and diversity of the student body, and the scholarships that we are able to offer will play a large part in that. So what you're seeing here is the University Admissions Centre Educational Access Scheme, or UAC EAS, recognises long-term disadvantage for admission purposes, and you may be eligible for bonus points coming to the university under the UNSW Access Scheme. And the scholarships that we have a growing number of scholarships that also are equity scholarships, and those applications will actually be processed via the University Admissions Centre or via UAC. If any of these circumstances apply to you, you may be eligible to apply for an equity scholarship. So UAC will have really clear guidelines on both the process and the supporting documents that you require, so make sure you check out on the UAC website for more information on that. And those applications will open in August, and to be considered for a UNSW Equity Scholarship, you will need to apply through the UAC Equity Scholarship or for the UAC Educational Access Scheme. So we'll participate in a few rounds. So you need to check the relevant closing dates, and you may still be offered a scholarship once you are here at UNSW if you have submitted an application. Some of these scholarships will require you to submit an application through the UNSW Scholarships website as well as via UAC, and if that's the case, we'll make that very obvious in the scholarships ad on our website, so make sure you do check the ad. Of course, the real advantage with applying for scholarships via the UAC website for equity scholarships means that any of the university preferences that you're applying for, you'll also be considered for equity scholarships if you have that EAS application in as well. Again, all of our UNSW scholarships will let you know exactly what you need to do, and if there's any kind of additional criteria or any link with the UAC website, and that's all on our website. So everything you need to do in order to apply is there. Finally, for some scholarships, you're selected automatically on the basis of your results or the merit scholarship application that you may have submitted. So this means you don't have to submit an application for those particular scholarships. For example, the UNSW All-Rounder, students will be selected from the application that they have already submitted for other UNSW scholarships from that pool. And the scholarship ads will advise you if you need to directly apply for the scholarship, if it's an automatic selection scholarship, or if it is a linked UAC scholarship. Okay, so as I highlighted, the co-op applications are slightly more unique, and the co-op program scholarship is a little bit more in depth. So it is a career development scholarship. It's a scholarship program that has evolved because our companies want students who are not only good at theoretical skills, but also have the necessary practical skills and management capabilities to really hit the ground running from day one when they enter the workforce. Obviously, the theoretical knowledge that you acquire at university is extremely useful and necessary, but sometimes it's very different to the practical or real-world experience. So with our co-op scholars, they're going to leave uni with an impressive resume that sets them apart from the rest of the graduates. It also gives companies an opportunity to work with some of the best and brightest students that UNSW has to offer. And co-op scholars are highly sought after when they graduate, because of their professional development and their practical experience. And a number of our scholars are receiving graduate offers as they enter their final year, so without even having to apply because of that experience. So there are around a total of 80 co-op program scholarships offered each year across the 22 programs in these faculties. So in the business program, it's everything from accounting and business management through finance and banking and marketing. In engineering, from the traditional areas of civil and mining and mechanical to the more future-looking photovoltaics or renewable energies. Again, if you are one of those students who's really, really excited about math, we have an advanced math or the data science and decisions program, which covers, which actually is revolutionary in the fact that it goes across 3 faculties, business, engineering and science, and those are available as co-op scholarships as well. For anyone interested in technology, computer science, software engineering, information systems. So there's a whole range of options there and a whole range of programs across those 4 faculties. So why would you apply? Why should you apply? As I said, co-op is an industry-linked scholarship, and we're linked to around 150 of the leading companies in Australia and globally. The scholarship itself is $18,200 per year for 4 years, and there are industry placements, so you're receiving between 9 and 18 months of practical experience in the field that you're choosing to go and work in after you've completed university. It's that squishy bit in the middle, though, that's really exciting. The professional development, the networking and mentoring, academic mentors, alumni and professional mentors, and it's the leadership training. So you're beginning to connect with your future from the time that you're here at UNSW. You're starting to build the network that's going to help you get your foot in the door. This is a snapshot of some of our sponsors. Obviously, as I said, we've got around 150. This is just some of the names that you might see in the program and in the different streams. So you've got the big four are there. You've got some of the leading engineering companies in Australia, Cochlear and ResMed. You've got Veolia, Water, Jaguar Land Rover, Oporto, McDonald's, you know, depending, and you're not flipping burgers, it's okay, you're actually doing cool stuff in the marketing areas. So depending on the stream, the sponsors do vary, but all of that information is on the website. If you're interested in one of those faculties that I spoke about, jump onto the website, have a look who the individual sponsors are for those streams. So, as I've said, for the majority of our scholarships, we are looking beyond just your academics. Co-op is absolutely no different to that. We are looking for high academic achievers. Our minimum ATAR for the program is a 96, or entrance into the degree that you're applying for. But if you're expecting anywhere in the 90s or equivalent, then you should absolutely be keeping this door open for yourself. We're looking for students who are committed, motivated, ambitious, and have some leadership skills. We want students who have communication skills, students who can articulate a passion or an understanding of the industry that they want to go into. It's for students who thrive on challenges, who are going to make the most of having a whole bunch of opportunities thrown at them and really create their own career from there. In terms of interests and aptitude, we want students who can demonstrate significant and sustained achievements outside of the classroom and have the ability to balance the academics with extracurricular and social pursuits. Okay, we don't want much, we just want all of you to be fantastic, all right? So let's take a look at how this all plays out in terms of a timeline. Co-op scholarship applications are already open, and you are here in June. Scholarship applications for general scholarships will open by July 1st. As Jonathan's already mentioned, open day is September 2nd, and you should absolutely come onto campus and have all of your questions answered by then. UAC applications will close the 29th, and the majority of high school leavers scholarship applications will close the 30th of September. Now, if there is any different closing dates for any of our scholarships, it will clearly state that in the advertisement that is on the scholarships website, but the majority of them close the 30th of September for high school leavers. So make sure you have that date in your diary very clearly highlighted. For co-op, we will offer interviews at the beginning of November, and then the interview briefing day is the 23rd and interviews is the 24th. So if you're offered an interview, you do need to be here on campus for your interview in person. So again, make sure those dates are in your diary as well. We will make co-op conditional offers on the 7th of December. And then ATARs in New South Wales are released on the 15th of December, and scholarship applications for general scholarships will start then and will continue through December and even into January. And as I said before, with the equity scholarships, you could continue to be made those offers as late as February and into your first session if you have that application in. Okay? So hints and tips for online applications. Key hint. Start early. Give yourself time to actually think about what the scholarship is looking for and take some time to process those answers. Get to know what the scholarship needs. Give full and comprehensive answers. One sentence is really not going to make you stand out, and if you leave it to the last minute, that's probably all you'll have time to do. This is your opportunity to boast. If you can't tell us how fantastic you are, I have absolutely no idea. None of the scholarships team have any idea. We can't assess you on the basis of how fantastic you are. So make sure that you're realistic and you're honest about all of the exciting things that you've done. Draft your answers in a Word document. It's a really simple hint, but it's a great idea to do that because that way you can access it really easily and you can copy it across into your application. With the application systems, you can register now, go in and out as many times as you like until you submit your application on the 30th of September, but it is a great idea to check the word limits in Word. Save it regularly. You don't want to lose all of your work because you've forgotten to save your application. Proof your draft. Check your spelling. Check your grammar. Check all of those answers with somebody as well. That's completely fine. For co-op specifically, on our website, check the Future Students pages and the FAQs. There's a lot of information in there. And check our quick guide. Some of our programs, specifically in the business faculty, if you're applying for co-op programs in the business faculty, there are standalone UAC codes. They are co-op degree programs so that you will have separate UAC codes for those, so make sure that you're aware of that. And there is a schools assessment that's required as part of your co-op application. So once you've registered, nominate your careers advisor or whoever it is at your school to support your application by submitting that schools assessment for you. As I said, you can register today, you can do that straight away. In terms of all other hints and tips, we are going to be sending you out a little video for everyone who's come tonight to help you out a little bit, which is an instructional. It's a troubleshooting video. So the co-op one will go in the next couple of days and the scholarships video will go out to you in line with when the scholarships applications open for high school leavers. As I said before, the 30th of September is the closing date for the majority of our scholarships, and we will absolutely look forward to receiving applications from everyone here this evening. But in the meantime, we have 2 scholarships holders, as Jonathan mentioned, here to share their experiences and their hints and tips from the other side for you this evening. So just a reminder, if you do have questions, put them into Slido. We will have a panel. We can't wait to answer them. But I'm going to hand across to Sonia Paralika, a current co-op scholar in information systems. Thank you.
Thanks, Michelle. So as Michelle mentioned, my name is Sonia, and I am a final year commerce student here at the university. I've had an absolutely amazing 4 years here at UNSW, and I can solely credit this to the scholarships that I've had available to me and the opportunities that they provided. So straight out of high school, I was a co-op scholar in commerce information systems, and the co-op scholarship not only provided me with the financial support that I needed to come to university, but it really set me up for my career. So through the co-op scholarship, I was able to work at 3 different companies, each for 6 months. So I worked at the Reserve Bank of Australia in my 2nd year. I then got to work at Westpac and then A.T. Kearney in my 3rd year of university. And working at these companies, it gives you the opportunity to really see what you learn at university and see how it's actually applied in a real life sense. So I'm looking at all the theory that we learn and then looking at how it's actually applied in industry. But aside from that, you also get these amazing networks. So I now know so many different professionals and industry leaders in the field. And as a final year scholar, I have actually received offers from all of my co-op placements, which really just set me up and made it a lot easier in my final year to decide where I want to go as a graduate. So this idea that the co-op program really connects you with your future and really connects you with leading companies in the field that you want to work in is a phenomenal experience. But aside from all of the industry experience that you also get professional development. So as a part of the co-op program, we get to go on leadership camp where we get a massive toolkit of attributes of great leaders. We get industry placement training, so things like how to use Excel, how to use tools of the trade. The core program has an alumni and mentoring network. So in my first year, I got paired up with a co-op alumni who's really helped me not just navigate the workplace, but navigate university and navigate the co-op journey in general. And then finally, recruitment-ready workshops. So most co-ops, like Michelle mentioned, already do have graduate opportunities or graduate recruiters coming after them straight at their final year. But co-op also runs workshops to show you how to structure your resume or structure your cover letter. And it just makes it a lot easier to have that extra support when you're in your final year looking for jobs. And aside from all of this, co-op is also an amazing community. So you have all these different people who are like-minded, who share your journey with you, and they've become some of my closest friends. So to have that community straight out of high school, in your first year of university, you get to walk into lectures and you see a whole heap of familiar faces, is just a great experience and something that I really value as a part of my co-op journey. So in my second year, I was lucky enough to receive an exchange scholarship. So I received the New Colombo Plan Scholarship Exchange. And as part of that, I got to go to Singapore and Malaysia for 8 months in total. So the New Colombo Plan Scholarship, it allowed me to work in Singapore for 2 months. So I got to work in PwC, and then I studied in Malaysia for 4 months. Exchange was one of the best experiences I've had in my life. And to be able to go and experience a new culture and also work in a culture that's different to Australia was so invaluable, and the scholarship really helped me to do that. So it gave me the financial support to go and live overseas, but it also provided me with other opportunities as well. So through the scholarship, for example, I was able to represent Australia in the ASEAN Young Leaders Summit. So it's, again, opening up these networks and opening up these doors that you would otherwise not really be able to have. Earlier this year, I received a mobility grant with the UNSW Business School to go to Hong Kong, and again, I got to work in Hong Kong. So what I'm really trying to drive home here is if you don't get a scholarship straight out of high school, UNSW has so many opportunities throughout your degree to have scholarships that can support you in whatever sort of field you want to do. So if you want to work overseas, if you want to do an honors program, UNSW has the financial support to help you do that, and anyone can apply, and it's really achievable to get. So I've had amazing overseas experiences. I've worked in 2 different countries. I've lived in 4 different countries, all because UNSW has been able to fund me and help me on that journey. So if you don't get a scholarship straight out of high school, it's not a big deal. You definitely have a lot of opportunities available to you later on. So my top 3 application tips. So the first one is to be informed. So the scholarships website and the co-op website have so much information on there. It has things like alumni stories, current scholar stories, a whole plethora of information. And I think it's really important to know that, not only so you can make sure that you know what you're applying for and you understand what the program's about, but it also helps you show us that you have the attributes needed for a candidate, for what the scholarship candidate is looking for. So making sure that you go to open day and you talk to people and you ask your questions so you can be fully informed about the program you're going to is, I think, really important. My second application tip is to proofread your work. So the way I write my scholarship applications is I sort of sit down and I write it all down in one sitting. And then I go away for a bit and I come back to it after a week or so to double check what I've written makes sense, to look at it from a fresh perspective. And I highly recommend you do that. Don't sort of just write it and submit it. Definitely take your time with your application. Make sure it's worded correctly. Make sure you have all of the information you want to portray. But also get someone else to read your application as well. Just to check for things like grammar, spelling, but also to make sure it makes sense. When you write an application, it makes sense in your head, but making sure it actually makes sense to whoever's reading it is really important. So get a trusted friend, a teacher, a parent, anyone to read your application before you submit. And my final top tip, and I think this is one of the most important tips, is to actually apply. Don't cut yourself out of scholarships or don't think you're not good enough to get one. You don't know you don't know what it's like. Don't close doors based on estimated marks. So I know the core program has a 96 cutoff, but if you think you're going in the 90s, honestly, apply. You can surprise yourself. You don't know what you're going to get. Just apply for them. If you think you want the scholarship, if you think you're the right person, definitely submit that application. the only way you won't get a scholarship is if you don't apply. So that is probably my number one tip. Please apply for them and don't cut yourself out just because you don't think you're good enough for it, because you don't know what will happen. I'm now going to be handing over to David to talk about his scholarship adventure.
Good evening, everyone. My name's David. I'm a fourth-year student here at UNSW, and I'm going to talk to you a bit about my scholarship story. I actually grew up overseas, went to an international school, and I had no idea about scholarships at all. So everyone sitting here is already a step ahead of me. Congratulations. So my dad sort of just said to me, hey, if you're applying to uni, look into scholarship programs as well. I was like, all right. So I looked into it. It was really easy online application process, which you'll find out as well. It was one sort of batch application for all the scholarships that I was eligible for. And I just sort of sent that through, and they looked at, as everything Michelle mentioned before, so they looked at my academics, what I did extracurricular, so like sports, music, leadership, whatever it was. The application online is actually very sort of spacious. There's a lot of space for you to fill out whatever you've done, write things you've been involved in, and a key thing that I want to point out is the supporting documentation. So obviously, coming from overseas, I wanted to make sure that my scholarship would be valid. And so I actually went to the embassy, the Australian embassy, and said, can you stamp this to show that it's a document from my school, just in case the university doesn't know where my school is. Obviously, you won't have to go to that extent, but start thinking about what school certificates you have that you can show in support of the application for the things that you're writing down that you're getting involved in. So that's a big tip that I have. But yeah, essentially I applied and I was lucky enough to get an interview for a scholarship straight out of high school. And because I was overseas and they asked me to be there on a certain date, and I basically replied saying, look, I'm really sorry, I can't because I'm at school overseas. And I was lucky enough that they gave me an online interview over Skype. And so this was the scholarship that I ended up getting out of high school. It was called the Alumni Association. You can see all the scholarships will kind of be set up like this on the scholarships website. So you have, this was obviously for this year in 2016 as a high school leaver for the stage of the degree. And yeah, it was awarded, there was a criteria missing that I had in there, but it was awarded on the basis of having a parent or a grandparent that had attended the university. So dad, again, helped me out coming to uni. And and I submitted all the documents of things I'd done at school, and I was lucky enough to get it. And it sort of opened the door for me. I moved to Australia, started living with my grandparents, and I didn't have a job straight away. So having a scholarship, financial support, it helped. It helps as a university student to have money coming in when you're not working for it, big time. So yeah, it helped me to settle in. I met people through my scholarships. I actually got my first job off of my scholarship. So my scholarships advisor, Sonia, asked me to apply for the position of a student ambassador at the university. And I did, and I've been working there for 3 or 4 years now, and I love working for the university and sort of talking to prospective students like I am today. So it opened the door. I got involved with the university. I played sports. As I said, I now teach at the university as well, and so it really sort of got me thinking about things, got me meeting people, and I just lapped it all up. I've really enjoyed my experience here because of that. So one of the big things I did do at uni is I'm passionate about sports, so I got involved in the football and volleyball clubs at the university. It's where I've made most of my friends, had some great experiences. As Jonathan was saying before, university games. I've been to Perth and to Gold Coast and played against other universities in Australia. I've captained teams. I've done all sorts, and I've really sort of enjoyed myself in that aspect in a sporting sort of environment. And it's the experience of getting a scholarship in terms of that financial support that I talked about. That's just one of the things that you benefit from. So the scholarship bought me time more than anything. It bought me time to focus on my studies, to get involved in activities that I enjoy, to settle into a new setting for me, a new country, a new sort of level of education. University is different to high school, and so that's something I really appreciated. And following on from this, and as Michelle mentioned as well, I was able to apply to other scholarships while I was at university. So the next one that I was lucky enough to get was the Sam Cracknell Memorial Sports Scholarship. And that was awarded to me on the basis of my contributions to the volleyball club at uni. So I'm the vice president, I get involved off the court in administrative stuff, but I also play for them. And that, I wouldn't have been able to sort of be that involved if I didn't have the first one. So this is what I'm talking about with opportunities. It just keeps sort of, it's a rolling ball, it keeps going on, and you keep sort of finding new pathways to go along. So I've really enjoyed taking part in everything at university. And in terms of what I'm studying, because I haven't really talked about that much, I got into a medical science degree initially. And like everyone in medical science, most people want to get into medical school after that. And so that's something that I was doing. And there was a pathway at UNSW from medical science through to the medical program. And because I had time to sort of study and push myself in that sense, it's another factor that helped me to gain that admission. And so I finished my medical science degree last year, and I'm transferring over into medicine now. And so I'll be spending the next 3 or 4 years at the medical school. And yeah, so it's just sort of all happened one thing after the other. And I'm currently doing an honors program, which is a research year, before I start the medical program. And I have my talk tomorrow, actually, in a building sort of next door to this, on sort of what I've done so far in the last couple of months. But yeah, so I just wanted to sort of give you a bit of an intro into my experience as a scholarship holder. And so the tips that I would give on top of everything that everyone else has said is, the application is very spacious. Put as much as you want in there, obviously, as long as you've actually done it, supporting documents, and never think that you're not good enough to get a scholarship. I didn't even know about them. I wouldn't have applied. I didn't know what was going on, and never think that it's sort of not possible. As I said before, you can only not get it if you don't actually apply. So good luck with everything, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the night. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, Sonia and David. I'm going to welcome up everyone up onto the stage now for the Q&A portion. So for those of you who remember Slido, so many of you have sent in questions via Slido already, which is great. If you do have additional questions, do make sure that you log in via Slido, and we will now start going through those questions. Important to note, if we covered your question during the length of our presentation, we're not going to answer it again. I do love your questions, but I'm just not going to double up on answers. If you do feel like you didn't hear something or you need to hear it again, all of our scholarships and co-op representatives will be available in the foyer after this evening as well. So we have about 10-15 minutes for questions now. So the very first question that we have this evening, which is the most popular, is, I should also introduce our panel again. So we have David, Feliz from the UNSW Scholarships Office, and Michelle Morris from the co-op program. So they'll answer your questions based on what they are. And so the first question, how many co-op business engineering scholarships are offered each year? Ms. Morris.
Yep, so the number of scholarships that we offer each year is directly relating to the number of sponsorships that we get from our sponsor pool. As I said before, cumulatively, we're looking at around 80 scholarships each year.
Excellent. Thank you. That was a quick, easy answer to that question. Our next question then is, what do you think made you stand out in your actual application? So, Mr. Abihana.
So something that Michelle mentioned in what the office is looking for in your application is your ability to sort of give back to the university and how you're going to get involved. And that was probably something that was seen that sort of with my continued involvement in certain activities throughout my high school. And I think that progression, they saw that if I got involved in something, I would commit to it and stay sort of connected with the university. And I think that's something that stood out, yeah.
Sonia?
Yeah, I'd say for me, it would be my extracurricular activities. So I was really heavily involved in debating, in and in my school's mock trial team. And I think I continued that all the way up until year 12. So I didn't give it up because of the HSC. I continued on with that. And I think that's something that they really value, that you pursue extracurriculars outside of just an academic setting. So you have the ability to multitask and manage your time effectively. So I think that's what really helped me get my scholarship.
Feliz, do you have anything that as the manager of scholarships that you think makes people stand out?
Yeah, absolutely. I get the privilege of reading thousands of scholarship applications, so standing out is of vital importance, I would say. It's a bit about what Michelle said, it's what makes you unique. So don't tell us what you think we want to hear, tell us the truth. So if you are genuine and you are passionate about something, please put that into your application. I can tell straight away when someone is passionate about something and they've really thought about what it is they want to do or what it is that they're currently doing and how they might apply that in the future. So be genuine, be yourself. That will make your application stand out because you are the only you out there. Be unique and don't be afraid to tell us about yourself.
Excellent. Michelle?
The only thing I'd add to that with Co-op, we have the luxury of interviewing all of our Co-op applicants who are invited to interview. So in that time frame, you have a second opportunity to make an impact. And in addition to what everyone said, I'd say make sure you understand what the industry is looking for. Make sure you understand what the careers are that are available in the industry that you're applying for, beyond the surface. Okay, we want to know that not only do you understand, but that you're passionate and enthusiastic about the career that you understand to be at the end of the degree that you're applying for with Co-op.
Thank you all. So remember, you can continue to submit questions, you can continue to vote questions up or down, but this next question is a question that we get all the time, and so I'm going to turn to Feliz. Can you have more than one scholarship at any given time? I think David might be a good example. Sonia might be a good example as well, but please.
The short answer is yes. We encourage people to apply for as many scholarships as they are eligible. You may not necessarily automatically be allowed to hold multiple scholarships, but we make that assessment on a case-by-case basis. It depends on certain things like the value of the scholarship, where the money comes from for the scholarship, what the terms and conditions of that scholarship are, but you'll find a lot of students do hold multiple scholarships and or they go on to apply for further scholarships as they grow through their degree. So it is possible, yes.
Excellent. Thank you, Feliz, and thank you for that question. Our next question then is also quite popular this evening. Why is Co-op better than a cadetship? Now, I will also ask the question of why is it maybe different than a cadetship?
Yeah.
Michelle, do you want to take us first stab at that?
Yeah, let me start with why it's different. With a cadetship, by and large, you're going to be working for an individual company. Our Co-op scholars are going to get as much breadth of experience as we're able to offer them within the sponsorship pool. So ideally, that's going to be your 3 industry placements or your 4 industry placements if you're in an engineering stream with 3 or 4 different organisations, or at least 3 or 4 different parts of an organisation if there are less than those numbers of scholarships in that pool. For a cadetship, you might go back to the one organisation throughout your time as a cadet with that organisation. Co-op scholars are also able to, as you will have seen from Sonia's brief conversation there before, able to live the life of a university student still. They're still full-time at university when they are studying. When they're working full-time. So it does give an opportunity for students to still have everything that a university student is able to take advantage of here at UNSW.
Excellent, thank you. Our next question then is, what kind of extracurricular activities do you consider relevant for co-op engineering and or business degrees? Again, Michelle?
Me again, I'm feeling very popular.
The Michelle Show? Yes.
What kind of activities do we consider? Whatever it is that you have done that can show us your ability to balance different activities, your ability to manage your time. We don't really mind what the activity is. What we want to know is what did you get out of being involved? Okay, it's not a ticking boxes exercise. I don't want 700 activities because you'll fall over dead. I don't want a student who has kind of surface level touched on a myriad of activities. A deep, long-standing engagement with any 1 or 2 activities is fantastic. If you can articulate to us why you did those activities, what you enjoyed about them, what you got out of them, and the skills that you've developed in them, it doesn't matter if it was school captain, cricket captain, playing the violin for 7 years, or working part-time in a part-time job. Okay, it's about what you can articulate as the lessons learned from that.
Feliz, would you echo that from a general scholarships perspective as well?
Yeah, absolutely. It's important, as I said, to be genuine. So whatever it is that you are spending your time doing, it's really important to be able to articulate that. Not everybody is a school captain or has worked. Some people are at home looking after their younger brothers and sisters, and we understand that. So whatever it is that you do outside of school, whatever's important to you, whatever you do with your time, just articulate that to us, and all of that is taken into consideration.
Okay, so we only have about 4 minutes left, so I'm going to ask our panelists to be very brief in your responses for the next couple of questions. So our next question then is, are there any ways to improve my chances of receiving a scholarship if I did not perform well in my half-yearly report card?
Good, Jen.
21 of you. Interesting. Okay.
Yes, do better in the second half, is my general advice. Some scholarships are purely based on ATAR, we get that. Most scholarships, we look at a whole range of things, as we said. So academics is one aspect, it's an important aspect, but for some scholarships, such as equity scholarships, it actually doesn't even come into it at all. So it just depends on what scholarships you're applying for and what your circumstances are. My general advice is don't stress. Do your best, that's all we ask of anybody, don't stress about it.
And I think Sonia raised a great point. Don't rule yourself out. Don't rule yourself out now. Wait until you actually get your result. Our next question then is, when it talks about minimum ATARs for scholarship applications, does this include bonus points or exclude them? Feliz first, followed by Michelle.
Most of ours will say whether it's inclusive or exclusive of bonus points, but generally if there's a minimum ATAR cutoff, it's without the bonus points, but it'll be specific on the ad, it'll let you know.
Michelle?
From a co-op perspective, the only bonus points that we'll look at is EAS, so the Educational Accessibility Scheme. Elite Athletes and Performers and HSC Plus are the other two bonus point streams here at UNSW, and the co-op application, we won't take those into consideration for that minimum ATAR, but EAS, absolutely we will.
Thank you,
Can I
Bill.
just add to that, all scholarship offers are conditional upon actually gaining entry into the program that you're applying for. So you'll get a conditional offer, but you'll actually have to be admitted and enroll in the degree program.
Next question, thank you both. Do all scholarships require an interview?
Most general scholarships don't have an interview. Co-op is fairly unique in that. Things like the Women in Engineering and the Rural Engineering program also require interviews, and there are some large sort of business scholarships that also may require an interview, but generally most of them don't.
Excellent. What do I do if I take a gap year? Can I defer a scholarship?
For general scholarships, the short answer is generally you have to reapply, which is good because it means you can add your gap year experience into your scholarship application, but the ad will specify whether or not the scholarship can be deferred.
Can I do a combined... Oh,
From
sorry,
a
go ahead.
co-op perspective, you aren't able to defer a co-op scholarship, but again, we also really encourage you to apply. You don't 1,000% know what's going to happen, so if you change your mind and all of a sudden you aren't able to take a gap year, don't close that door on yourself, so absolutely apply. And we certainly will still consider your application and be very excited to see that you've applied again after a gap year.
Okay, next question. What if can I do a combined degree with a co-op program?
With the co-op program, no. You must initially come in on a single degree to enter into the co-op program. In some cases, after a year of study and after your performance, we can have a conversation about it. It does depend on the combination. It does depend on how you've performed. But initially, you must come in on a single degree.
Next question, thank you. If I want to change my degree or program stream, do I lose my scholarship?
The short answer is it depends on the scholarship. If it's very program specific, as in to do mining engineering, and then suddenly you want to do science or arts, then you will have to relinquish your scholarship. But it depends.
Thank you. And then next question, how do scholarship offers affect IB students whose results do not come out until January?
Again, for general scholarships, there are more rounds that come out, but often the decision about a scholarship is made before results come out anyway. So yes, IB confirms that you're getting admission to the university, but it won't be based purely on your ATAR results.
And for co-op?
From a co-op perspective, as you saw, we make conditional offers the week before New South Wales ATARs are released. So we hold those offers until you get your results. And then you can accept and decline on that basis.
Excellent, thank you. And finally, which scholarship is the easiest to get? Are there scholarships with fewer requirements than others? Because the HSC is rough, let's be honest.
you're a left-handed tuba player from Cowra, we may have a scholarship for you. No. The more specific a scholarship, the harder it is to find students to apply for it. That's my general advice. So you really need to do your research, search for the eligibility criteria and see if there's something there for you.
Excellent. Thank you to our panel. We do have more questions. I'm sorry I can't get through them all this evening. If you do want to ask any of those questions out at the foyer and to our scholarships and co-op staff, please do. I just wanted to also quickly remind you that we do have a huge range of events here on campus all throughout the year, whether they're workshops that are specific to a particular degree, more information evenings like this or for specific faculties. So do make sure you check them out, including built environment, business. There's a huge range of workshops coming up in the July school holidays. And finally, Open Day, Saturday the 2nd of September. You must make sure that you attend. 30,000 people attended last year. You should be one of them this year. And finally, we have introduced a personalized guide document this year. So if you do want to get more information than what is in that, and more specific information that's customized just to you, do make sure that you visit that URL, unsw.guide, and you can request that document this evening and it will come through to you later tonight that is personalized just for you and what you are interested in studying here at the university. We do have a short video as well that you're welcome to stay and watch about scholarships if you want to. Otherwise, you're welcome to chat to our staff out in the foyer. Thank you so much for coming this evening. Stay dry and have all the best in your HSC. See you guys.